reviews. Not one, two reviews for you guys and gals.
Yeah, so we're going to play our little intro here, and then we're going to review Black Knight, Sword of Rage. Let's go! All right, it's Black Knight, Sword of Rage from Stern 2019. It's designed by Steve Ritchie, art by Kevin O'Connor, software by Tim Sexton, sound by Scott Ian of Anthrax and Brendan Small. Pricing is MSRP prices are $59.99 for a Pro, $75.99 for a Premium, $89.99 for an LE. So those street prices will be a little lower than that, but that's what they're asking for.
Yeah,
MSRP.
probably you can kind of take
a couple $100.
About $300 maybe off the each price, I'd say. Like maybe $5,600 for the Pro delivered and $72 for the Premium.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with art, and I will pull up pictures.
And for review purposes, this is code 0.91. So 0.93, I guess, came out today.
Yeah.
This has been out for a few weeks, 2-3 weeks. So it's not like it just walked out the door, but it's relatively new. And this is exclusively reviewing the Pro one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about the Premium because I played it at MGC, but only a couple times. So I can talk about some of the feel, the different feel of the two games at least.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so let's start with the art. We're looking at the back glass here, art by Kevin O'Connor. I think it's awesome. Like, it totally fits the theme. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's Zombie Yeti level of quality, but I think it's totally appropriate. Looks great, hand-drawn art. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I was so on the screen you had the back glass. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, it's such a cool look to that art. More than gets the job done. I can't imagine how it can get much better than that, to be honest. Cabinet looks fantastic. I think all the models, Pro, Premium, LE, I think they all look good. I mean, it's a toss-up which one looks better. It comes almost down to like what colors do you like in a pinball machine.
Yeah, I was looking at the three different models when I was setting this up, and not one of them stood out where I'm like, oh, I like this one better than the other one, or this one is not as good as the rest. They're all really good.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
it sucks when somebody's like in the market for, like, let's say the LE, but they like the Pro better. So you spend all that money, but in your mind, you get a lesser art package.
Right.
So, I think everybody should be happy. The playfield art is obviously incorporating the other Black Knight games. Mostly, I would say Black Knight 2000. Mm-hmm. It's got the wheel.
Yeah,
it's
the lightning wheel.
Of that. So it's not, it's minimalistic in some ways, but it looks really good. I mean, those colors look fantastic. It's a very attractive, eye-catching game.
Yeah, it's I can't say anything more. It's really well done. It's got the Black Knight integrated well, and some cool aspects of it, like he's got the gold at the bottom because he's taking all your money.
Yep,
give me your money.
Yeah, good stuff.
Awesome. So kudos to Kevin O'Connor on the art. All right, let's talk about sounds. Sound is like we said, Scott Ian and Brendan Small. It's got a very heavy metal sound effect, like an updated version of the classic soundtrack that you would expect, right?
I think it's very appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets you kind of high energy, so it kind of conveys a sense of excitement and just being on edge, and it goes well with how fast this game is. So it just blends with that theme very well. The excitement of the art, the sound. When I was watching a stream of it, it's sort of like it seemed like it was looping a lot.
Yeah.
And it sort of got a little bit grating. Well, that hasn't necessarily gone away, but playing it, it's not as prevalent, right? Like, I don't notice it really when I'm playing it. I don't know why. I don't know why in the stream it bothered me, and playing it, it didn't. I don't know if I had it in the home environment, if it would start to. But it's very good, and kudos to Stern for not just phoning it in, but actually going out and getting a professional, a well-known professional to do the music for it.
Yeah, this game, it like hits you in the face as soon as you hit the start button, and it doesn't let up the whole time you're playing it, right? It's like that classic Steve Ritchie, like, kick your butt the whole time, rock and roll, heavy metal, all that, the whole time you play it. So it's a real intense experience all the way around, I think. And the music fits it perfectly and is totally right into that. And like Tony Gosa in chat mentioned, it's got the retro mode too, right? Which throws it back. You get it's an updated version of it's kind of like a re-recording of the classic soundtrack. But.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear it, the retro playing as much.
Yeah.
Do they have the I heard the chorus in there and the main part of the game, but it's sort of like somebody's whispering.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
Pronounced.
I miss that. I mean, the cheesy chorus is, I think, something that we all love. If you like the music in Black Knight 2000, I think most people do.
Yeah.
It's that iconic kind of cheesy 80s music. I wish it was in there more.
Right.
And unless I'm wrong, I don't think it's really preserved the way it was in the original game.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they'll add it. But
yeah.
That's the one thing that I sort of missed from that.
Yeah, I do like that they have at least the throwback mode to kind of pull that out a little bit. Because they know, like, of all the pinball music, that's got to be up there of the most iconic. It's like always being re-recorded and remixed and redone.
The whole part where the choir, you got the power, and it's like, Steve, no, like going in there, like,
you can do it.
Yeah, like that's sort of amazing when he's interacting with the chorus singers. Like it's so intense.
Yep.
It's cheesy. But it's awesome. Like it doesn't. Even though the music's in this awesome, it doesn't have something that's going to be, I think, as iconic 30 years from now. The way that thing is, 30-year-old game, and we're like still talking about it and so excited about it. People are covering it on YouTube, right? I don't think anybody's going to be doing it with this game,
right?
That's a tall order, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a knock to this game, but I wish just that aspect was incorporated a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'm asking a lot, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe it's coming. We don't know. It's still early, but as it stands right now, it's not all in there. Toys, dude, this has got an amazing toy.
Whoa, is this Stern who made this game?
I know.
Holy
Look at that.
shit.
Look at that.
I'm super impressed by this toy.
It's really cool.
We went from, it's kind of funny. Went from Steve Ritchie with his last game, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, that TIE Fighter thing is not a toy. That game is toyless. Mm-hmm. And then we had Game of Thrones. They had the dragon flapping, which is, it's all right. Kind of shrug your shoulders.
Barely interacts with
maybe the
ball.
battering ram is a toy. Like,
yeah.
And then what was before that? What was the Steve Ritchie before that? AC/DC?
No, there was something else in there.
Star Trek.
Star Trek was in there. Yeah.
Star Trek.
It's got the ship.
The ship on a spring again. So look,
that's at least got a coil.
Yeah, that was better.
Yeah.
But like we've just gone from these totally lackluster toys, things on spring, like it's become a joke in the podcast, to this.
Yeah. So he's got in his left hand he holds a shield that moves up and down and also like can bash the ball back. In his right hand, he holds a flail, which is a kind of a stick with two balls on the end of it, which spins both directions, and he can hold it straight up and down. So you have to bash it. So he can fight against you, or you can bash it. And then the mech itself, the face mask of the knight, it glows when he talks. So like it lights up in time with the speech. And he's got a sweet feather on his head, which is Martha's favorite feature, right?
That's right. Yeah. So a phenomenal toy. It looks cool, it lights up, and it interacts in more than one way.
Right.
Between the shield and the flail. Like, super cool. It's a super obvious thing. It's right front and center. It can pull in casual people. I think people who are cynical about toys and pinball can appreciate this. Very, very well done. Kudos to them. Looking at the art package, the sound, and the toy, I mean, they threw a lot behind this game.
Yeah.
You can tell versus like what happened with Munsters and just kind of getting panned, not great. This is a totally different story.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how that is, but it just is.
Yep. And it's really well molded, well crafted. They nailed it. This walking by this game in a lineup, you would stop, and if you're like new to pinball, you go, whoa, look at that. I want to like smash him and see what happens.
Sure.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. So and he's not even a bash toy. That's the best part about it. He's got a target in front of him, but that's not really what he's doing necessarily.
Right.
He's fighting against you. Mm-hmm. Bash toys are just passively sitting there and you hit them.
Right.
Like it is sort of Iron Man-esque with the Monger. The Monger fought back because he had the magnet in front of him and it was dangerous hitting him. This is sort of the same thing. This guy, he's a Black Knight. He's antagonizing you and you feel like you're battling him because if that thing's spinning and you hit it, he'll send it right in the drain sometimes. So very cool. He's very dangerous to hit him too.
Doing what he's supposed to do. All right, A+ on the toys. display and lighting. Yeah, so let's talk about that. I think we can switch back to us now because we don't have any pictures of the display, but the display I think is really well done. And when the Hell Hand came up for the first time, I'm like,
oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Again, I'm like, is this Stern? Like, no offense, but again, look at Munsters, which we're mocking last time we talked about them and their Sega CD-esque graphics on there and like the 3 video clips. And then you have this, which is very well done animations. The art style's fantastic.
Yep. And it's cool because you're like battling all these different waves of bad guys, and you got the Lich Lord and the Sandworm and the multi-headed guy. I forgot the name of that one, but
it's a great game for kids is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, totally for kids. Play it on Sunday like we played Alice Cooper.
That's right.
Yeah, it's good. And now I lost my train of thought. But,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's all. It reminds me of Dialed In that it's like they had to create this whole world, right? You don't have these assets to like just drop video in, so you have to create all these 3D pre-rendered 3D images and create all these characters. It's like building a video game from the ground up with an original theme that you don't really have any assets for. So you got to do the character design, the animations, the sound, all that. Even the whole concept behind it is all brand new, right? So they put a lot of effort into this, and it looks great.
Yeah, this is really Stern's first original game. I mean, like, let's not looking at Wonelli, because they sort of bought Wonelli, right? Like that was an in-house game.
Yeah.
And they've done sort of boutique stuff on the side, but this is a real game, right? And this is their first original game since like
High Roller
2000.
Casino,
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. So this is a departure. They've said no original games, but Steve Ritchie, so he got one. Very cool. They did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah. So, and Sharky Shootout and Striker Extreme, yes, we know that there are others, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, so it's great. Any thoughts when it comes to lighting? What stands out to me is like the lightning wheel. The effect on the lightning wheel is really cool.
I think you forgot the gate too in the back. The fire gate. There's 60 LEDs they said or something like that in
awesome
there.
looking.
It like burns. The lights are really well done and coordinated in this game. So hats off to Tim Sexton. I know in the interview he was trying to program things to be reminiscent of the Black Knight 2000 and stuff. Lighting is very, very well done, and like the coordination and the choreography, very good in this game.
Yeah, the first time I saw the fire go off in the back panel, you're like, whoa, that's awesome. And it totally fits the theme and like the whole I guess the ambiance of the game. It really ties it together. So yeah, the lighting's really well done too. All right, let's talk gameplay.
Yeah,
this game's an ass kicker, right?
Yeah, it's a tough game, but once you sort of get used to it, you can avoid some of the dangerousness of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you miss a shot, it could drain. You do get a chance to recover. It's very fast. I think that almost an issue with this game is there's a lot of air balls.
Yeah,
like more than should be allowed. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it will settle down over time, but way too many air balls. That's the one nitpick. But it's a Steve Ritchie game. You can backhand all the shots, right? It just feels good to shoot. It's that it fits into the theme of just being brutal at times. It's got an Iron Man-esque adrenaline and brutality to it, which I really respond to in a game.
Yeah, you feel like you're fighting the Black Knight, really. Right? You've got certain games like where it's a more casual feel. When you compare like Wonka and this, it couldn't be more different, right? Wonka's like a family feel. The shots. I was talking to Pat Lawler about it, and he said he designs the shots so like the ramp, the flipper should just make it up the ramp, so it gives the casual player time to appreciate the fact that they made a shot, right? Versus a Steve Ritchie game, which is like, all right, you made the shot, you better be ready because it's coming back and you're gonna have to react, and or if you miss your shot, like a lot of the shots begin about halfway up the playfield on Black Knight. So if you hit those posts, you're in trouble. You got to be ready to react.
It has something in the game that I've been saying for years. When are we going to see somebody bring back the MagnaSave?
Yep.
And because it's Black Knight, well, it has got a MagnaSave, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But the downside is, I think everybody hates this that I've seen her talk to pretty much. Even people who try to defend it are
like
sort of
unprompted. Like people, like
oh my
people
God.
in our league are like, why is it?
People are like, fuck this. Like I was just watching because I was running the tournament, and like people who don't normally nitpick things just I was surprised by the amount of frustration. So they made the decision, instead of putting the MagnaSave button where it traditionally is next to the flipper button, the right flipper button, they put it where they've been putting, on the lockdown bar. And the reasoning behind this, I think Tim was saying on Coast to Coast, is because they want it there because that's where casual players will see it or something like that. This makes no sense to me because casual people don't know what the heck's going on anyways. I don't think it makes a difference. But the people who really do care are people who understand MagnaSaves, and it's a pain in the ass to hit. I mean, you just cannot... You have to react so fast to be able to utilize a MagnaSave when it is normally located on the right side of the cabinet, right? That's tough enough.
Yeah.
But now you have to take your hand away from there, bring it over, and try to hit it. And it's just not happening.
You almost have to plan ahead so far that you're using it maybe when you don't even really need to. Like
that's what you'd have to do.
When it goes over there, just hit it and use it because it's there, and maybe not because it's necessarily going out. It may have gone in. The excuse that it's there and they wouldn't see it on the sides, or the reasoning, I should say, is it's kind of contradictory because on their last game, the Premium and LE has extra flipper buttons on the side of the cabinet.
Right.
The Munsters has 4 flipper buttons for the Premium and LE. So
yeah, I don't get it.
If they can figure it out on that game, but not the other game, I don't know.
I watch people play pinball, and on Monday when the tournament, like everybody was just super pissed off about it. And so it was kind of comical.
Yeah.
When it was like, "What is this here?" Like, yeah, it's tough. It's kind of a letdown. Yes, it's got MagnaSave. Oh, they put it on the apron button. So sort of I don't know, neuters it. I mean, you're not. I was able to use it here and there, and we'll all adjust to it.
Yeah.
But we all know it's not ideal. People in chat were talking about this, and I saw this in Pinside. Like, I'm going to drill a hole in the cabinet. Yeah, you could. Who wants to drill a hole in the cabinet? To move a button. You shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it would be pretty easy to do, right? It's just moving a button over to the side, but still.
All in all, awesome gameplay. I rather the MagnaSave be in there and on the apron button than not in there.
Right.
So thank you, sir, for doing that. That's cool. That's it. I think that's it for your gameplay for me.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fast. It's. I was surprised at first that it only had one ramp. From a gameplay perspective, usually it's like a Richie game you would be able to kind of like combo ramps and stuff.
We should talk about that. I mean, it's got one ramp. I mean, if it had 2 ramps, would it be Black Knight and the way Black Knight operates, right?
Yeah.
It's a very barren playfield.
Yeah.
I mean, you take that toy out there, you're like, what is in this? But it's fun to shoot, and I don't necessarily miss not having a ramp.
Yeah.
And this is spilling over to rules, though. I did feel like I was doing the kind of the same maneuver over and over again, hitting that shot that is the ramp, and then backhanding it into the mode start or mystery ward or whatever. I was doing that maneuver a lot.
Yeah, and some of the feedback I've heard is that it feels very right flipper heavy. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with not in the way Black Knight 2000 is, but I didn't feel like I was hitting a lot of shots in the game.
Yeah.
Now, that might be because of lack of rule knowledge or lack of my play style, but since we're spilling over rules, I mean, I was able to get to the wizard mode in less than 10 games on it, my second day playing it, and I didn't feel like, some games where you're just like shooting everything on the game and you're shooting a ton of shots. It didn't feel like that. It felt very samey.
Yeah, what I noticed was like some of the modes where it would be like 3 shots lit, but they would move around. So like if you wanted to just wait and hit the left ramp, you could wait till it moves over.
You could, yeah.
We played 0.91 code, so that could get updated, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we're feeling our way out. Maybe like, what I was doing to get there or doing is like, no, you're missing the point. Like you need to be doing this, this, and this, and that's the better strategy. So you should be using right. So I don't know, but I literally felt like I got to the wizard mode by just doing like 2 shots kind of deal.
Right. All right. So that takes us into the rules. So let's talk about the rules and the overall. What are we trying to do in the game? How do we start the multi-balls? That sort of stuff.
Yeah. So the story is right. You're going to the land, like around the land of the Black Knight or whatever, these corrupted areas, and you're fighting monsters. And then it's a mode-based game. There's 6 modes, with the 6th mode being the Black Knight.
Yep.
And that's sort of the mode wizard mode, right? That's how I understand it.
Yep.
So yeah, it is a mode-based game. Hit a shot. To qualify the mode, start the mode. Mode's like hit these shots and it's time. So either you complete or you run out of time. and then it's like hit a couple shots to qualify the mode and start a mode again.
Right.
I got to the end pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Would you say? I mean,
yeah, you got it there
long.
during our launch party. It's on the stream if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, you can see it. And I don't even know if it was weird when I got to the Black Knight because it just like ended on its own.
Yeah, you got like 10 million points or something, and then it was over.
Yeah, like I didn't drain or anything. It wasn't a multi-ball. There seemed like there was an intro, but it didn't seem like I got to something really special, right? It wasn't like as we talk about times, like a pinball moment.
Right.
I didn't feel this big moment that oh my God, it's the Black Knight. Like, I don't, hopefully there's more fanfare, something amazing happens, or it's a multi-ball or something to differentiate it.
Right. And one of the things we didn't talk about when we were talking about sound was the call outs from Steve Ritchie and Ed Robertson.
My God, how we forget that?
Steve Ritchie, like, dude, he nailed it on this game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have an upgraded sound system or something, but there's a lot of bass in this game when he talks.
Yeah,
it sounds amazing.
It sounded really good.
Yeah. So like you want, like when you get to the Black Knight at the end, you want him just like taunting you and giving you all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
that's what he does. So it's like, I'm sure it's coming, but and Steve Ritchie is not one to kind of hold back on the call outs. He likes to be heard. So it's great sound effects and call outs, and good job, Ed. You did okay too.
Yeah, he did good. He did good. So
anything else with the rules? The multi-balls, like backhand the stand-up target, put it in the lock.
Yeah, so the other thing is, I like to compare games to other recent games, especially games you can buy right now. So this is a 6 mode base game. So let's talk about that compared to like Maiden. Okay. So what I found in playing Black Knight sort of Rage is that it felt very samey. Every time I played it, I felt very much like I was playing the same thing. And I went from like, it was like a honeymoon period where I accepted the game. It was a beautiful presentation. It was amazing shooting it, blah, blah, blah. I loved it. I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I can convince Martha to get this, right? To like, I was bored of it by Monday. And maybe that's just me and it's early. But it felt very samey, and there was like there's one multi-ball that you probably will get to it in the game, and then if you do well in the modes, and you spell Knight, and that's like the retro multi-ball. So as far as I can tell, there's only 2 multi-balls in the game. Okay, so again, early, I might be wrong or out of my mind, but there's like 2 multi-balls in the game, and you're most likely will maybe see 1 and then maybe 2 if you focus on it and do well. My problem rule-wise is that, let's look at Maiden. So Maiden has Mummy. It's got the where you drop targets and actually lock the ball, so that's 2. Then it's got
that's Trooper multi-ball, right?
Then it's got the Ramen the Ancient Mariner, and then it's got the airplane one.
Yep.
So that's 4. Ace is high, and then is one of the mini wizard mode or wizard modes is a
from all the power things.
The power things,
cyborg multi-ball.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
Yeah,
and like I was just sort of feeling like it was lacking, or like I'm always going to do the same multi-ball. Whereas like you step up to Maiden, you don't know which multi-ball you're going to like at first. Maybe you'll start the mode multi-ball, right? It's like a 2-ball multi-ball, or maybe you're going to go for drops, or maybe you're going to bring in Mummy. Or then maybe you're going to get to the wizard mode and that's going to happen. Right. So there's a lot more variety in there. It was starting to feel a little stale compared to that. And it's easy to compare in some ways because that is like a 5 or 6 mode based game as well. So you can kind of look at those two. They're the same price. You can buy them both now. And you got to start making decisions like that, right? What are you going to get? So hopefully we see more development. It's at 0.91. Maiden had that stuff out of the gate, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully we see more in there. I mean, I can almost maybe one of the modes is a 2-ball multi-ball, something like what Maiden did, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It just needs a little more to be something special.
Yeah.
It's not the something special yet. And when we talk about this, it might be fun on location to play a few games, but I think a lot of people listening to this are people who buy a game or put a game in their home. And I need a game that's gonna have, well, we're gonna get to that, but something that I'm going to keep around for a long time.
Yeah,
nothing goes in my basement, right?
Yeah,
like easily these
unless
days.
It's going to stay there for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I hope it takes more of the trajectory of like a Deadpool or Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not as incomplete as those were when they came out.
Correct.
But seeing where they started and what they got to, they did a great job kind of bringing those games around. And hopefully they have plans to do the same for Black Knight. Hopefully it's selling well enough that they stick with it and really kind of push it into something amazing.
I'd be interested to see how it does on location. I think, people that I talk to and they're excited about it. Like, it's got really good curb appeal. So it's got that initial, people are going to be drawn into it. Let's see if they stay with it, right?
Yep.
That's the question. So why don't you talk a little bit, before we go to lastability, why don't you talk about the premium? Because you played that and I haven't.
So kind of the consensus has been that people prefer the Pro, and I agree with that. The upper playfield, it's interesting, but and it's cool. It's like what you think of when you think of Black Knight, because the original Black Knight was one of the first games with an upper playfield. Black Knight 2000 also had the split double playfield. But there's really just not that much to do on it. And it goes up there a lot. So, like, think of how many times you hit that left ramp on when you're just playing the Pro, like all the time. Mm-hmm. Every time you would shoot that shot, it would go up to the upper playfield. And there's also a diverter to kick it up to the upper playfield.
Yeah.
So, and you get up there and you kind of bounce it around a little bit, and it doesn't have the war lanes anymore.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And you could kind of bounce it up off of that to get it to that flipper, so you could make another shot at the lock shot.
Yeah, that's Black Knight 2000.
Right.
Yep.
On this one, it would go up there, and if you missed your shot, it just kind of like dribbled down, and it gives you back to your flipper. So it's not real exciting to be up there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, rules wise, other than starting the multi-ball, what are you going to do up there?
There's an extra multi-ball. It's like catapult multi-ball, right? But it doesn't even, it just like sort of physically locks it, but doesn't even shoot it out like a catapult. It just sort of like dribbles it out.
Yeah. So the other issue we had on the one machine, actually, I think 2 of the games at Midwest we played, the left ramp on the premiums weren't working right. So you'd shoot it up there and it wouldn't even register the shot. So that didn't help either. But I don't think the upper playfield is compelling enough to pay the premium on this.
Well, it's good that the people like the premium's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the good news. Like, because when you talk about going from a pro to premium, you're talking like $1,600.
Right.
So you got to ask yourself, you're paying for an upper playfield. Is one flipper and a ball lock up there $1,600 worth? And maybe it is.
If you're a Black Knight purist, you're probably going to go for it.
There's that thing, right? If you're a purist. But
if you got the other 2 in your collection already and you want the third one to go by it, you're probably going to buy this one, right? So I would say stick with the Pro. If you're a purist, you want the full like Black Knight experience thing, go for the premium or the LE, but the Pro, there's plenty of fun to be had in the Pro for the Pro price, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So lastability, probably one of the most important category.
Yeah. For home collectors, for sure. Yeah.
Right. It's a huge tilt on, I think, the review value. What do you think, Kev?
It's to be determined, right? I don't think it's there yet. You're gonna have your 5 modes and a couple multi balls, and that's about all it's got to offer right now. Maybe there's more on the way. Hopefully there's more on the way. But I don't see this game having a ton of lastability. And not that every game has to have a ton of lastability. I've mentioned this before. Like, I have games I have a space shuttle. It's like, if you like classic games, they're great too. But this is a brand new machine. You're spending $6,000 on it at a minimum. And you're going to be hauling it into your basement. Are you going to want to bring it in there and leave it there?
Right. And something would have to leave, for me. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Right now, as of today, with the 0.91 code, 0.93 just dropped. I doubt there's huge drastic changes. But as of today, as of the review, as of the game came out, it just seems pretty low on the lastability. I hate to say it, I got kind of, the honeymoon phase is over with me, and it lasts like a day with that. And that's not good, because when you're competing with a lot of other games out there, we've just gone really deep of code, right?
Yeah.
So the expectation for a game and depth and lastability is much higher, and that's because of you've got more sophisticated players these days who understand that they have rules, and they've gotten better and skill wise, and also people are buying it for the home market. So in the home market, you want a game that's just going to keep you engaged for a long time. Now, when I got my first game, which was Iron Man, there's not a lot of depth in the rules there, but it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So you can get a game and you can have a lot of fun. And that was like my favorite game for 3 years. Mm-hmm. I was sort of just beginning my pinball career, if you will,
pinball
learning
journey,
things. I'm more my tastes have changed significantly in terms of what I look for in a game. But yeah, I think I look for a lot more in terms of depth if I'm going to buy a game like that.
Yeah, and when you consider games that aren't deep, like Tron is not a deep game at all.
That's
but
true.
To get to the end of Tron is hard.
Right.
So you're not doing it all the time. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a super deep rule set as long as it's challenging enough to stay interesting over
There's
time.
also 2 wizard modes in that too.
Right.
So like you might get to that. And
see a simulation.
yeah. Like Iron Man does that as well. You
Right.
know, like there's levels to that. So there's always like something
You
more.
want that carrot out there.
Right.
Dangling out. You don't want to get the carrot on your first
Right.
month of owning the machine, right?
Well, with like let's look at Maiden again.
Yeah.
This is an easy example. Same company,
Yep.
recent game, right? So what Maiden does is that not only you play the modes and you gotta get all the modes to get to one of the wizard modes, but you gotta perform well enough in one of the modes, and that unlocks like another mode and level to play, right? So there's a lot of these kind of mini wizard modes going on. There's just so much to kind of go for.
Yep. And that's what you want,
Right.
ideally.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see like a code evolution where it's like you don't just play the mode, but if you complete the mode and you can go back and actually defeat the monsters rather than just kind of fighting them, then that's going to give you a wizard mode. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. I mean, that's what we do see with a lot of these games, but as of right now, it's not in there. So hold on to your walls, maybe.
Exactly. All right, so let's go to, where am I going over here? I'm going to the website, and we're gonna do right here, interact. And then we're going to scroll down and we're going to see our review scale. So our score key is from 0 to 2, you should burn it. From 3 to 5 is an expensive night late. From 6 to 8 is a solid game. 9 to 10 is a get your wallets out.
All right.
Where do you stand on Black Knight sort of rage?
Well, this is no doubt, this is a solid game. I mean, I stood up to, I was really impressed. I mean, you can just listen to the first part of this review and just hitting all the marks: art, sound, toys, display, lighting, gameplay, right? There's the basis of the rules there. It's a solid game. It's just nothing that I'm thinking, man, I gotta put this in my collection, right? And then when we talk about games like that, that's reserved for like a 9 and 10. So I think it's a 7.5 right now. If we see some outstanding rules that matches the level of other games that are out there that we talk about being some of the best modern games, then this game could easily be in the 9, right? High 8, 9.
Yep.
7.5 for me right now.
Yeah, I think I'm right there. I'd give it an 8 right now. I think it's got everything except the polished code. So,
Okay.
So it's right on the doorstep of getting your walls.
Always giving it 1/2 more than me.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm the good guy. You're the bad guy.
Yeah, so you're like, what is it? You go first, Nick. Let's see where you come in at.
All right. We can switch it around for the next game.
We'll write it down. We'll write it down so you can't switch it.
That's what we should start doing. All right. So there you go. Solid game. Enjoy it. Good job, Stern. And we'll look forward to seeing where the code goes from here.
All right.
All right. So
next up,
we're going to do, we'll play the review intro again for our next review because we're going to split these up.